Hi everyone, I'm Mark and welcome to What's Brewing. Today we're sitting down with Jerry Lynn for part 2 of his interview. But before we get into it, let's go ahead and roll that B-roll. Jerry, thank you for joining us again.
Thanks for having me back.
All right, so first time we did an introduction. I want you to introduce yourself again, but this time, what else you got going on?
Well, I'm Jerry Lynn, President and CEO of Heritage Wealth Management. And I've started a new passion in my life, I guess you would say. As a Christian, I believe that I was placed on this earth to serve. And I had a very dear friend of mine, matter of fact, we mentioned him earlier, a guy named Brent Henley that I met back in the 80s, who recently passed away. And Brent was an amazing individual in the fact that he spent his entire life serving others. And he did that through leadership programs and developing our future leaders. I went through his leadership program in 1988, and when I finished the program, I sat down with Brent and I said, you know, it's a shame I'm 32 and I'm just now learning this. It's a shame we don't have something like this in high school. Well, he immediately looked at me and said, well, Jerry, what would that look like? And I said, I don't have any idea, but I think it's something that we should be doing in the high school in Ouachita Parish. And he said, think about it and let's get back together. So we got back together a couple of weeks later. And I said, Brent, this is what I think it'd look like. He said, so when are you gonna do it? And I said, me? I'm not gonna do it. He said, well, you said it's important. If not you, then who's gonna do it? So we started our first leadership program in 1990. And then with his recent passing, in his honor, I wanted to start a program here in Lafayette Parish, developing our future leaders.
So what is the name of that program?
It's called the Brent Henley Youth Leadership Program, and it's gonna launch August 8th of this year.
August 8th, 2022. So you specifically went with Brent because obviously he was a very good mentor to you. So with Mr. Henley being the namesake of this program, what made you choose to use his name just besides being your mentor?
Well, because Brent was involved in leadership programs throughout the country. As a matter of fact, he had leadership programs outside the country. But just in Acadiana, just in Lafayette alone, Brent was involved in all the leadership programs, I think from the very beginning. And with that in mind, there's been 977 graduates of Leadership Lafayette since its inception. And Brent played a part in that every year with the opening retreats. Not only did he do that in Lafayette, but he did it in Monroe, Shreveport, Baton Rouge, Lake Charles, the Gulf, all along the Gulf Coast, all around the country. So he impacted thousands and thousands and thousands of lives and was really focused on developing leadership in this country.
Oh wow, that's amazing. He sounds like a really good guy.
He was awesome. He was awesome.
He's awesome. That's awesome. If I remember reading, he passed away recently.
He passed away August the 8th of this past year. So actually we'll be launching his program on the 1-year anniversary of his death.
That's beautiful.
So I think that was a God wink.
That was a God wink. His legacy is going to live on 1 year after his death. The celebration of his life is going to be through a program about doing leadership, what he loved doing in life.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
That you did that. So within the Brent Henley Youth Leadership Program, kind of break down what does it look like? Is it for seniors only? Is it for juniors? Does it start freshman or sophomore year? How does it go?
So here's how the program's going to work. Students will apply for their program their sophomore year, the spring of their sophomore year. and then we will select students to participate in the program. They will go through the leadership program their junior year. There'll be 9 sessions, 1 session per month for their junior year. So we'll opening with an opening retreat, and mainly that's a get to know each other and team building meeting. Then we'll have days like First Responders Day. We will have Environmental Day. We'll have Economic Development. We'll spend a day talking about healthcare, education, local government, state government. So they'll go through that process their junior year, and then they will graduate from the leadership portion of that at the end of their junior year. But it doesn't stop there. What we've decided to do is have the students their senior year sit on a board of a nonprofit. So they will actually, once a month, they will attend board meetings. They'll be involved in that nonprofit's fundraising. And what we're wanting to do there is develop their understanding of how a board works, how nonprofits come together with the community to make this a better place to live. And then at the end of their senior year, after they graduate, we're going to continue following these kids on through several years of their careers. So if a student decides to go, for example, if a student says, look, I want to go to college and I want to major in, let's say, civil engineering, we're going to have an internship set up for that student to work with a civil engineering firm, so that while they're studying, they're taking what they study and apply it to life and to real life situations. And 2 things will happen. One, it'll help them develop and become a better civil engineer. 2, they may look at it and say, okay, civil engineering is not what I thought. It's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And they may change majors, so we change internships. But we want to help them develop as they go along. There'll be some students that decide to go to a VOTEC school or or some will just enter the workforce. And our goal there is to sit down with those students that say, look, education beyond high school is not for me. It's not what I want to do. I just want to enter the workforce. And we're going to sit down with them and say, okay, what is it that you want to do? And then help them get a job in the field that they have an interest in. But then taking it past that is we're working with Leadership Lafayette to where these students will eventually go into Leadership Lafayette. Hopefully they'll apply and be accepted to Leadership Lafayette. There's also Leadership Louisiana. We want to push these students and hope that these students will go through Leadership Louisiana. But there's all kind of leadership programs available for individuals, and we want our kids to take advantage of all of them.
That's great. And I know, like, growing up, whenever I was in school, there wasn't anything really like this. There wasn't. There wasn't that I was familiar of or even was advertised. And so the fact that you guys are taking a focus and taking an interest in students in this community to help grow them to understand this community and to make it better. To be able to give them the opportunity to make things better for all of our lives and for them to have a future in their lives. Because sometimes whenever you're a student getting out of high school, you don't have really a needle that points you in a direction, right? Right. You have an idea, but like I know some people I know that went through college, they changed their major 5 times. Because like you get there your freshman year and you don't know where to go. Or it's like you get out and it's like, I just want to start working now, but you don't know where to start. And to have something like what y'all do at the end, where you're able to help guide them, you give them an idea, a structure, and then you help guide them into what might work for them best is beautiful. And they need more people doing that like that.
Well, I mean, I, along with the business leaders in this community and the leaders of this community, we understand that they are our future. And developing those leadership skills as early as possible is only going to benefit this community moving forward.
That's a beautiful statement.
So,
you know who would be really proud right now? You know who would be really proud right now?
Who's that?
Brent.
Brent Henley.
Brent Henley would be really proud right now.
I'm glad.
Jerry, thank you so much for sitting down with us today and talking about the Brent Henley Leadership Program and about your business.
Good deal. Thank you so much.
No problem. And that's going to do it for us here over at What's Brewing. Thank you for joining us for part 1 and part 2 of Mr. Jerry Lynn's interview. If you like what you see here, don't forget to hit that like button. If you want to keep up with everything that we're putting out, don't forget to crush that subscribe button. And if you want to get all the notifications you need, don't forget to ring that bell. But until the next one, have a good one.